Hi, this is Saganil from CyberDeck, and today we are going to demo the end-to-end AI capability of the CyberDeck platform. We'll show the power of CyberDeck and how it can disrupt your business through a sales prediction use case. But the same theory can be applied to a vast ranges of problems like lead generation, churn prediction, or any use case that needs a predictive approach as the solution. We'll demonstrate how CyberDeck can be harnessed to empower an enterprise to bring out the best insights from the data. We'll divide the case in hand into 5 major goals: demonstrate end-to-end capability for data to value, extensive exploratory data analysis capability to find patterns in the data, automated machine learning capability and model deployment to empower enterprises to adopt AI easily, explainable AI and what-if analysis by changing the environment conditions for direct business insights, and lastly, continuous model monitoring and alerts for data anomalies. So let's get started. So right now, we are in the homepage of the CyberDeck platform. The very first step for solving a machine learning problem is to do a thorough exploratory data analysis to find patterns in the data. Let's see how our dashboard and EDA module can help with that. So in the dashboard section, the user will have the option to choose from a large variety of visualizations to generate insights. Let's make a few of them. So in the first plot, we can see that for snacks, fruits and vegetables, the sale is the highest. We can segregate it further by other categorical variables. Let's now make a bubble chart to see if the MRP has any correlation with the sales. We'll also choose the outlet type as the color and item visibility as the size. It seems that there are some positive correlations between them. CyberDeck also allows you to interact with the plot, like zooming in on a specific section and then have all the other plots synchronized with the selection. And it works both ways. Let me now speed up the video as I go on making a complete dashboard for getting any signals that might be useful for predicting the sales. With the help of this dashboarding mechanism, a user can make full-fledged reports to present in front of other teams. Other than the dashboard section, CyberDeck also has a dedicated EDA section to further deep dive into the data exploration. The user chooses a data and hits the Run EDA button, and CyberDeck creates a framework in the backend which will allow the user to generate insights with the click of a mouse. For instance, in the pivot chart section, the user can drag and drop any combinations of feature sets and aggregate any numeric column at that level. For changing the labels, the user only has to rearrange the blocks. The user can view the result as a table, grouped or stacked column charts, grouped or stacked bar charts, and a lot more. Apart from that, the user can perform univariate analysis, understand the interactions between one or more variables, and see the correlations between the different variables. With this acquired knowledge, now we can move on to the next part where we'll perform machine learning to predict the sales for different items at different stores. For performing machine learning, the only input the user has to provide is the column name which he or she wants to predict. Of course, the user can choose manually different AutoML parameters like which features to ignore, different imputation methods, and many other things. But even if the user leaves everything at its default value, CyberDeck will automatically choose the best route in the backend and run a variety of algorithms on the data. Then it will generate a leaderboard to the user where the user can see how well each model performed and finalize one of them based on different optimization metrics. Once an algorithm is finalized, it will be trained and tuned on the full dataset. Now that the training is successful, let's see how we can use this model as a means to interpretable AI to generate direct business insights, perform model validation, and do what-if analysis to see how the outcomes can change if the environment is slightly altered. So first, we have to choose the model and hit Show Model Explanation button. In the first tab, we can see which features have the most impact on the sales. Previously, we established the hypothesis that MRP might have a correlation with the sales. That is validated here as we see that it is the most important feature. In the Model Summary tab, we can validate how well our model performed by looking at different visualizations like predicted versus actual at different scales, residuals, and also if there is any correlation between the residuals and the features. Here, we can decide how we sort the categories, how many categories we want to see, and also do outlier treatment by winsorizing. In the next tab, we can really deep dive to each data points and see why the model predicted what it predicted. From the waterfall chart, we can see which features had a positive impact highlighted in green or negative impact highlighted in red on the sales. Here we really are getting at the heart of explainable AI for getting actionable business insights. At the right hand side, we can choose any column and see how its impact on sales changes at different values. Here we see as MRP increases, predicted sales also increases. Next, we go to the last tab, the what if analysis. Here we can select any data point based on some conditions, go on changing some variables, and see how that impacts the sales. We change the outlet to 27 and see that the sales for this product would have been more. Next, we change the outlet type from supermarket type 1 to type 3 and see that the sales further increases. If we change the outlet type to grocery store, we see a dramatic reduction in the sales. This is evident as grocery stores will have lesser sales than supermarkets. In the same way, we can go on changing other variables and see the impact on sales. This knowledge can directly help an enterprise to take the most important decisions confidently when there are many factors to consider. The same concept can be applied to a vast number of problems in a variety of domains in order to understand how the outcome will change with the change in the environment. Let's move on to the next section of CyberDeck, which is MLOps. MLOps is one of the latest emerging facets of artificial intelligence. It is increasingly becoming a necessary skill set and focus for enterprises looking to leverage the benefits of machine learning in the real world. It is a practice for collaboration and communication between data scientists and engineers to improve automation to streamline repeatable machine learning end-to-end, including deploying to production environments and monitoring the models for data drift or anomaly. Many firms are racing to include machine learning in their applications to solve incredibly difficult business problems. However, for many, putting machine learning into production has proven even more difficult than simply finding good data scientists and figuring out how to train the models. You can have the most talented engineers in the world with the most mature track record of machine learning development, and yet, all too often, their sophisticated software solutions get held up in deployment, rendering them unproductive. CyberDeck automates the whole MLOps pipeline through the click of a mouse. It can deploy a model to production, and then it continuously monitors that model for data drift and anomalies. It provides you real-time alerts in case there is any problem with the data or the model. So let's get right into it. In the Deploy Model section, all the user has to do is select an existing model from the drop-down and hit the Deploy Model button. It will create an API in the backend where any front-facing app can send a HTTP request and get live predictions. As we don't have any front-facing apps, we'll demo this from the backend. Here we have a JSON file which contains one single data point. Note that we have kept the item MRP at an excessively high value, which is much bigger than the MRPs of the dataset on which this model was trained. So clearly this is an anomalous data point. We send this data to the API and get a prediction. Almost immediately, we get an alert email. We see that indeed it alerts the user that an anomalous data point has been encountered and shows the relevant information. Apart from real-time alerts, CyberDeck is also actively developing a module which will show the weekly statistics of the API requests and whether they are significantly different than the training data. This will help the users to catch a data drift, and subsequently the user can retrain the machine learning model. Apart from all the features we discussed up till now, CyberDeck also has an auto time series module for demand forecasting use cases and an auto clustering module to find similar pattern clusters in the data. This is particularly useful when the user does not have a predefined label to segregate the dataset into different pattern sets. Let's see a quick glimpse. We go to the auto clustering module and select the countries dataset. This has demographic information of different countries. We can change different clustering parameter which suits our needs and then run different clustering algorithms. After we hit the Run Clustering button, we immediately get detailed visualizations about the clusters. We can use this to enhance our understanding about which countries are similar to each other from different demographic perspective and why. Let's move on to the last module, Auto Time Series for forecasting problems. We select the airline passengers data, which tells us a particular date how many passengers traveled. If we want to forecast how many passengers will travel on a future date, this model will come in very handy. We select the column we want to predict and the timestamp column and hit Generate Leaderboard. CyberDeck runs a plethora of algorithms in the backend and generates a leaderboard based on different matrices. The user can now select any one of the algorithms and specify for how many units of future time frame does he want to forecast. Let's say 12 months. And then he hits the forecast button and voila, we have an immediate forecast. This concludes the demo of the CyberDeck platform. Thank you for your time and welcome to CyberDeck.